All right, guys, so now we're moving up the chain. We're gonna get into the muscles of the calf and anterior and posterior, so front and back. We're gonna focus both sides. I'm gonna start with a foam roller, but you could keep your baseball, lacrosse ball handy, right? As I mentioned in the foot rolling video, when those muscles in the ankle, or when the ankle gets tight, right, because of the arches and the muscles in the bottom of your feet, they cause a stiff ankle, right? Well, all of a sudden, this is a mobile joint. When your mobile joint becomes your stable joint, that means that your stable joint, your knee, all of a sudden is the mobile one because your ankle no longer has that mobility, right? So there's this little law that goes into play. We want to try and keep those calves. A lot of times if there's tight ankles, tight arches, it's going to be a tight calf. And if there's tight calves, there's most likely going to be knee pain, right? So this is pretty important. Might be painful to some of you, like all of this, but we are chasing pain here, okay? So, I didn't mention this in the last video, but if for some reason you can't handle the amount of pain, because sometimes if it's the first time, it's gonna be deep, no pun intended, but it's gonna be a little bit painful. So take what you can, switch sides, come back to it, okay? I'm gonna run through it a little bit more quickly. So, what I'm going to do is, you start with both legs first. You're going to go back and forth, up and down, okay? And then, I'll show you head on. So, I kind of have my body propped up right now, where my butt is like an inch off the ground, and I'm just rolling back and forth. Now, if you have shoulder pain, I wouldn't recommend necessarily lifting and putting all that weight in there. Instead, keep your butt on the ground and just kind of micro, like a dog that has worms. Just drag your butt across the carpet and slide back and forth. Now, with two legs on, that's not going to be, it's equally dispersed between the two. So what I want you to do is take that leg, put it over the other one, and now we're going to add a little bit more pressure, okay? So we're going to go back and forth, same deal that we did, but we have more pressure, and it's solely isolated on this left leg now. So, just as I just showed you, right, all right, so good example. I have a bad knot right here, okay? What I'm gonna do is take this top leg, I'm gonna apply pressure to the bottom leg on the roller. Now, with my left foot here, you're gonna gas pedal back and forth, back and forth. Now, keep the pressure on there. As you're rolling, you gotta multitask. You're gonna go gas pedal back, gas pedal forward, back, forward, back, forward, all the way down into your Achilles tendon, okay? But what I was just doing there is spending a little bit of time on that one specific trigger point, okay? So as I'm going through that knot, it doesn't exist in one plane of motion. That is, it's not just up and back. I want you to turn your body, turn your ankle on the inside like this so that you're kind of getting the inner part of your shin almost. Back, forth, lay that leg on top. Okay, and then I'm going to switch to the outside, do the same deal here, back, forth, right? If I find another knot, I'm going to flex, extend, good. So I'll repeat that for both sides. Rule of thumb, there's about a minute, okay? So if you're moving through the motions and you spend about a minute on each side, that's okay. If you have parts that are more painful, you want to spend a little bit more attention in there, that's fine too. There's no real rule of thumb to it. Just remember, we want to try and keep our specific myofascial time, if we're going before exercise, between like a 15-minute window, okay? Because you don't want to totally negate everything that you're trying to be nice and elastic for your workout. This is a good way to try and start from the bottom up and diagnose where the injury might be coming from. If you're someone who, we all have our different postures. You got the one chair, the captain. You got the person who just steady leans all day. One person that just cocks their hip. You're constantly shifting your weight like one hip more than the other. You'll feel that, whatever your dominant leg is, the more weight that you're putting on that as we start to work up this chain here. So we did the backs of the calves. Now you're going to do the front too. Okay, so I'll show you from this side, but we're basically taking, this is your shin bone. We did all the inside. Now you're going to take the outer portion, this little strip going right here, and you're just gonna you can either add that same level of pressure and go back and forth like this. You could stay on top of it like I'm doing. And you could flex and extend that foot. Breathe, shift, back, forth, back, forth. Okay. So that's with the foam roller. Now, I want to show you with the baseball a more specific move. So what you're going to do is take the baseball or your lacrosse ball, you're going to put it and pivot it kind of like a nutcracker. You're going to be in between your hamstring and your calf here. And I want you to try and go squeeze, flex, extend, flex, extend, flex, extend. Right? And now you'll go to a different point on the other leg here. Hold that leg down. It's applying more pressure to it. Flex, extend, flex, extend. Okay? Move it down a little bit. Draw it in. Just like that. Okay? Oh, you can do that up and down until you find more and more knots, but you'll start to definitely feel that, or you'll find the knot quick.